Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sallystampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my triangle gift box. Perfect for those awkward shaped gifts or just for stuffing with some shredded paper or anything really. But yeah, it's a pretty decent size in there, to be honest. It stands at 5 inches tall, so it's a really good size. Unfortunately I did get it off Pinterest and I've completely forgotten to note down the lady's name that created it, but what I did love was how she cut the triangles for the base and the lid. I did make it in centimetres, excuse me. The only difference being is the size of the top of the lid, and you'll also notice the height. Now, excuse me, I did have a little bit of an issue with my measurements, but I have corrected them and they are correct on my blog. I will double check them, so dependent on what I tell you here, might be slightly different, but if they are different, the ones on my blog are correct. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a slurp of my tea. I don't know where that's come from. Okay. So, Whimsy and Wonder DSP, absolutely love this. I haven't actually used this pattern. I had 2 full sheets of it, so I was like, right, crack the paper out, what can I make with it? I absolutely love it. So, we're going to start with, and I'm doing Blushing Bride this time. My previous one was Polished Pink. Love, love, love that colour. Okay, so you need a piece of DSP that is 7.5 by 11 5/8. Or generally a sheet of A4, full sheet. On the short side, we're going to score at 2.5, which I've got as 9 centimetres, but like I said, that may be incorrect, but I will double check. On the long side, we're going to score at, and these are correct, 3 3/4, 7.5 and 11 1/4. That will be 9.5, 19 and 28.5. As I said, those measurements are correct. It may just be the 9 centimetre one that I'm struggling with. But as I say, I will check. So I'm just going to fold and burnish these score lines. And then we're going to get rid of this spindly bit here that actually is already ripped anyway, so it's probably a good thing that I don't need it. And then we're going to cut these bottom sections here, so you just have these 3 shorter flaps at the bottom. Let's add our DSP. So this time I've gone with the Pretty Baubles and Sprigs type one. Again, love this. Just going to adhere these on the 3 panels. Come on, glue, thank you. Okay, whoops, got some on my finger then. So there's one. Obviously, if you have direction, make sure when you cut these they are the right way. And your DSP is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Or in centimetres it will be 12.5 by 9. But I don't think that's right either. 12 and... no, it might be. Again, apologies, I double check. Okay, so gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Shiny, shiny DSP. Bit of adhesive on here. And then obviously you can't just fold this down, so you kind of have to do it this way. Now if you fold this flap up out of the way, it helps, because then you can get your hands in. Using wet glue is also ideal because you can just slide it if you need to. And because of the depth of this panel here, you do actually have a little bit of wriggle room just to squeeze. Not too far, but just enough to squeeze that join. Okay, so there you have it. This time, we obviously need to now create this base here, and this isn't going to work, and you're going to have awkward, unpleasant angles if you try and just cut. So what you need to do is, oh crumbs, I left my pencil in the living room. Should have a spare if all else fails. No, I'm going to have to go with my pen. That's frustrating. Okay, so what you need to do here, and it is better if you can use a pencil, is fold your box over with these out. Tuck one in. Oops. Wait a minute, I've got to remember how I did this one now. Yes, that's right. Tuck this one in, so you've got one of the base flaps inside. Tuck these up out of the way, and you're simply going to use your card as a guide. So you just simply, now it won't matter here because these are inside, so they won't be seen. So you work your way, whoops, work your way round, do all three of these flaps. Last one. And then you can either use your trimmer or a pair of scissors to cut these down. I'm just going to use my scissors. And once you've cut them, you can then fold them over and just check that they fit. There's no overhanging bits. I mean, you will have one corner that has got a little triangle missing, but it's on the bottom. Nobody sees it. And ultimately, if you really are that bothered, all you need to do is pop another piece of card down, draw around it, cut it out and stick it over the top, and it will be a full piece. But either way, all of the base is filled. Simple as that. So let's pop some adhesive on there, some more on there. Oh, that was close. Pop it over, hand in or bone folder in or ruler or whatever you have to hand, just press it down. And there is your triangular box. Then we need to do our lid. So for the lid, you need a piece that is, and these measurements are correct, 4 3/4 by 11 1/2. So again, it's pretty much your, oops, why have we gone out of focus? Hello. Oh, crumbs, crikey, I don't know what, oh, what's going on? Stop. Oh, hang on, I've obviously nudged a button on my camera. Oh, crikey. No, it really isn't very happy, is it? There we go. Okay, so your lid, and these measurements are correct, as I say, is 4 3/4 by 11 1/2, which is a full sheet of A4 again. 12 1/2 by 29.4. Okay, so you perhaps need to trim it down as a fraction. And we're going to score at the short side at 1 1/2 or 4 centimetres, and then on the long side we are going to score at 3 7/8 and 7 3/4. Don't panic, I know that that means that we only have 3 sections. The good part for this, and I somehow again don't seem to have it. Oh no, I do, it's here. I found it, was hiding underneath. You also need another little piece of cardstock that is 1 1/2 by 3 1/2 or 4 by 8 centimetres, and you're just going to score the long side in half, so 1 3/4 or 4 centimetres. Okay, so fold and burnish these score lines. And then, with this piece here, fold and burnish again, and then with your valley fold, so in the shape of a V, we're going to adhere it to this bottom section here, just like so. And it's basically, this is acting as your tab. So I get a bit of adhesive on there and a bit on there, and then we're going to turn it over and pop that side on to there, and then this one is going to go onto here. But I forgot, silly me, you need to cut the large sections on this one. Probably do that first. I got too excited then. So yes, cut those sections off, and then we're going to put this one, whoops, onto here. Oh my goodness, this is slippery and slidey. Right, stop playing around now. Let's do this properly. Okay, there we go. Crumbs, that was a bit dramatic, wasn't it? If you have, like I have here, a little bit overhanging, you can just simply cut it off. It is awkward because you've got the card in the way, but if you just, oops, now I'm cutting into the actual card itself. Let's trim this. I'm going to have a wonky bit now. There we go. Right, don't look at that side. Luckily that'll be the back. Okay, so for this piece now, we're actually going to do this a slightly different way. So this time we're going to flop our lid over, bring one piece in, and we're actually going to mark from the inside. Okay, so we're just going to do all of them. If you have marks on your card, and you obviously, I'd say if you're using a pencil, you'd be able to erase them. Okay, and then we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're just going to cut down these lines here, all the way round, and cut down each one. That pen mark wasn't very good, was it? And my last one here. I mean, to be fair, I never look inside lids or on bases of boxes to look for mistakes, so I'm fairly certain your recipients won't. And then, yeah, we're literally just going to fold this over. Now, I have a slight odd shape going on here. Yeah, I don't quite know what's happened there, but it's obviously just down to my pencil marks, because that first one was absolutely fine. But anyway, so let's get this adhered down. Okay, and then to do your DSP, just press that down. To do your DSP, you've got one of two options. Now, the lady that I cased this idea off literally drew around a piece of copier paper to get the triangle for the lid, folded it in half, and then trimmed the side and the top. So if you sort of imagine, this is how she did it. She'd trim here and here, open it out and place it on, and just keep trimming till she got the right measurements. However, I discovered if you measure the base here, so I'll just get my ruler. Oh, crumbs. So if you measure the base here, so mine is 4 inches, so I would want to go for 3 1/4. But I've actually put 3 1/2. Sorry, that's right, yes. So my box is 3 3/4, sorry. So as with all my measurements, I want to go 1/4 shorter. So I will go for 3 1/2 inches, and that gives me the right width. And then I measured the centre of my box from top to bottom, and that's 3.5. So I'm going to go with sorry, I've not even written the correct DSP down, so that's ridiculous. So yeah, so my DSP measures 3.5 by 3.5. There we go. And all I simply did then was turned it over, marked, make sure I've got it the right way round, marked the top centre point. So half of 3.5 is 1 3/4. So I'm just going to mark it there. I'm going to draw my line or score it or whatever you wish to do. And then again, you can either use your trimmer or use scissors, whichever you prefer and you're more confident with. Cut down your marks, and you are then left with a triangular piece that should fit. Should fit. You might have to alter that top a little. Don't quite know why it's not fitting this time. But again, there's no harm in just trimming a fraction, and I'm quite happy with that piece. So I'm just going to adhere this on, and I've completely forgotten to put, oh crikey, can't believe it came out there, didn't it? So I'm just going to pop that onto there. Shush please. Sorry, car outside. Girls, it's okay. And then for your sides of your lid here, you need 3 pieces that are 3.5 by 1 1/4 or 3.5 by 9.3. Daisy, it's okay. Good girl. So I'm just going to pop these on here. And then the last bit is my lovely decoration, which is those lovely ornate dies. Good girls, it's okay. I took them for a huge walk this morning, hoping it would tire them out and I could get this done, but obviously it didn't work greatly. Okay, so there's the lid of my box, which will fit. Just watch that DSP as I put it on. And then to decorate, I've already die cut from the ornate frames, which is this one. There's just so many pretty frames in here. I absolutely love it. And then I have this one that should coordinate with that part. So my lovely sentiment. So I'm going to stamp this, I think, in Blushing Bride when I can find it. There it is. So stamp my sentiment onto the white in Blushing Bride. Bring in my lovely little mini cut and emboss. Pop my sentiment on here. And my die on top. Run this through, and then, thank you, I'll have that is out of the way, and then all you need is some dimensionals. I haven't added any bling to mine, but obviously you can if you wish. Pop these on here, and it does just fit nicely on there, and then a couple more on the back. Just be careful of the lovely delicate dies, because you can fold them quite simply, and then you just stick this on the front. You just need to take the lid off and just press through there, and there you have it. Those are your really pretty triangle boxes. thank you for being patient with me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.